Good evening. Welcome to the Pmbc meeting for Wednesday, April 28th at 2021. We do have a quorum. I'm going to start the meeting off with a review of the warrant. If I can get that up on the screen here. Let's see. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Okay, good. So we only have two invoices on the warrant tonight. The first one is for the Vertex Company. That's for services provided for the police station through April of this year, $2,160. And the second is for Commodore Builders for the library services through March of this year, $1,238,085.13 for a total warrant value of $1,240,245.13. Any questions?
Steve, are they fully vetted and approved?
They are.
I'm okay. You want a motion?
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion that we approve the invoices as stated.
I'll second that motion. Bob Romley.
Okay, all in favor, roll call vote.
Bob Romley, yes.
Richard Crowley, yes.
Bartlett, yes.
Brian Pasquale, yes.
Emmeline Rassius, yes.
Great, thanks so much. We also had, I think I need to put the agenda up again. Can you see the agenda?
No.
Not yet.
All right, well, not sure what I did here. Anyway, the next item on the agenda is the minutes of April 14th is amended. If anyone has any additional comments.
No.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
So
Motion
moved.
to approve the minutes of April 14th as amended.
Is
I'll
there-
second it. Bartlett,
Okay, roll call vote.
Bob Romley, yes.
Richard Crowley, yes.
Bartlett, yes.
Brian Pasquale, yes.
Emmeline Rassius, yes.
And Steve Moore, yes. Motion carries. Thanks very much. And as I was telling Bob, I have to jump off and I'll let him continue the meeting with the order of the items: library, police, Houghton building, and member input. So thanks for your attendance, and sorry for my short attendance, but I have to jump off.
Well, don't jump too far.
Good luck with her, Steve.
Thank you.
Take care.
Talk to you later.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
All right, the next item on the agenda is the library update. Brian?
Sure, Bob. Thanks for having me. And thanks for changing my name, Kirby. So we've got things are going really well over at the library right now. A lot of finishes are going in, and things are starting to take shape around the exterior of the building for siding and other masonry and hardy board siding on the rear of the building. Windows and curtain walls are all going in. They should be all complete within the next week or so. Patio roofing is being finalized. Like I said, windows are all being installed right now. Final grading and landscaping will begin to start to take shape in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Our acoustic ceiling tile sub's been on site. They've begun starting to put up their track, as well as the art hanging system that will be going on. We're hoping to get our electrical inspection by the end of the week. We're working with the town currently about providing an easement from town property to town property. So I think it's just more of an administrative paperwork.
What's that for, Brian?
So LELD is requiring an easement form to be signed. And so Joe Layden has been helping me with town council figuring out whether or not this easement really needs to be filled out due to one town property giving an easement to another town company being LELD. Something does need to be in place. We have the paperwork, so we'll be filling that out so that LELD can be on the books for the beginning of May to pull their primaries and energize the transformer that they'll be setting next to the building. Our paint is ongoing. I'm not sure with Steve jumping off. Maybe I can share my screen. I can show some of the pictures that I took this morning when I was out there for our project meeting. I can walk us around the building a little bit. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I got to move everyone's faces on my screen to the other side.
Say, Brian, who's ensuring that all the water barrier is done properly?
Yep. So we have the architect is doing kind of a quasi envelope commissioning as well. We personally, from the owner, we did not purchase envelope commissioning, but he does his inspections and puts that in his field reports about the installation of all envelope barrier, air and water.
Great. Thank you.
Here's some of our exterior signings. Some of the finished paint is actually along this water table right here. That was done for inspection by the architect and was okayed today. You can see Cataldo's actually been doing some excavation around the perimeter of the front of the building where some French drains going in for drainage around the perimeter of the building. You can see I believe it's like a 1.5 inch minus stone that's been put in around the perimeter. Show you some of the cool colors that Sam and his staff had been choosing down on the lower level of the building. This is in the children's area. Got some greens and some yellows and some turquoises. They've opted to do some of the accent colors on the returns, if you can see on the left side of the picture, where the returns in the windows are going to be the accent colors from the adjacent walls. So while it looks a little funky, they actually were going to tie together quite nicely.
Did they buy multiple colors with the painter, or was that a change?
No, this is all part of the base bid.
Okay.
This is the teens room area. It's more of a blue. That'll match with the carpets that were selected as well, and more of a turquoise for the accent in this room. So they the staff got a lot of input on here, and I thought that
Brian,
they did a good
back
job.
one photo.
Which one?
The blue room.
Yep.
Are those oxyacetylene tanks? Okay, they're on a rack. All right,
Yep.
and they're kept. Good.
Correct. The picture from our upper level. This is going to be the overall soffit as you walk in the main area, and these will be the linear diffusers. There'll be a drop ceiling that is up probably 18 inches higher than the soffit that will run in the middle of the corridor. I think our architect made a good comment today. As you can see, this is the nook at the end of the hallway overlooking the woods and actually overseeing into close to, you can almost see the field through the windows. And he made a good comment that whoever sits here, I hope they're a softball fan, because you can see you get a good view of the field throughout to the left of that.
Brian, is there any railing or anything going up against that area so that somebody doesn't go out through it?
Right here?
Yeah, around the windows.
So this will be all curtain wall right here and glazed with glass. And then there'll be a baseboard that runs along here. These are not operable, and you won't be able to open them
And they will be tempered glass, right?
Yep.
Yeah, along with anything else that's 18 inches off the floor?
Correct.
Good.
Can show you a couple pictures of, we're having, this is what we're going to be getting our inspection from by the end of the week for our permanent power. These were the inspections that will be required by LELD in order to drop the transformer.
Okay.
Some shots at our lower level. This will be down at the lower level. Our community room will be over here on the left. Some of the staff area Community area and staff break room will be at the end of the corridor here. And then to your right side will be the patio that can be accessed by 2 doors.
The place is remarkably clean. Is it, do they have a person dedicated to clean, or is each sub picking up their own stuff and doing
Great
it?
question. I think it's a little bit of both, Rich. I think we have a very good, strong contractor on site that requires all of the subs clean up after themselves, as well
Okay.
as they have their own labor that comes through and makes sure that the site is clean, both inside and out.
Good. Thank you.
No problem. That's pretty much what I have for you today. We have a couple. Here's the shot from the stairwell. This was platformed off so that they could finish the ceiling and the far wall, but this will be a wall that ultimately provides the stairs from the upper level to the bottom level. This will have a monitor on it, as well as we're working with the trustees and Sam to put together the donor wall. We've engaged with the sign contractor from Commodore Builders. He's helping us put together a donor wall so we can recognize all of the donors to date. We're also working with Sam and a couple other people in Town Hall, specifically Nancy Glencross, regarding the IT systems, the security systems, and the access control systems that are going to go into the library.
That's great. They'll be integrated with the same that we have in all the other buildings?
Yeah,
Hopefully.
so I went out and got a couple quotes from some people on the state bid list. But we're finding that the best route that we believe for the town is going to be to use the same system that they have in Town Hall and use that off of piggyback. I think it's going to be a lot cheaper and it's going to be a lot easier to maintain from, a town perspective.
Yeah, anytime we can have similar systems, or the same systems, the better off we are in terms of maintenance and everything else. Spare parts.
Here's a good shot. That would be from the on the
Good.
first floor. This was taken a week ago before these soffits were completed.
Yeah.
So in the coming weeks, what we're going to be doing from a project perspective, we're going to be securing our furniture quotes and releasing them for fabrication. That includes our metal shelving, our end panels, and all of the furnishings throughout the entire building. And we hope to, my other things that I have on my docket are to take care of the keying throughout the building. Doors that are not going to be through access control need to be on a key hierarchy. So we'll be working with Sam and his staff about that, as well as working with Nancy about pulling in the copper phone line that needs to be required for the elevator. So once we get our permanent power into the building, Delta Beckwith, the elevator subcontractor, will be on site and they'll start building the elevator. And we'll make sure that they have all the requirements that they need in order to pass inspection.
Hey, Brian, can I make one recommendation? When you do the key hierarchy and you include Joe or somebody from Town Hall so that we can have similar hierarchy throughout all the buildings?
Yep. I will, I'll make sure that Joe's a part of that.
Yeah.
Brian, how are we running budget-wise?
Budget-wise, we're doing well. I have another scheduled meeting with Commodore in about 2 weeks. As we sat about a month ago, we were trending to be coming in about 3 weeks early, which obviously saves on a little general conditions.
Yeah.
Where some of the allowances are going to get tight and run over, they'll definitely be offset by some of the general conditions and savings that we have in the contingency. So from a budget-wise, we still are within budget, and I'm hoping to improve on that number as we get closer to the finish line. We're also working with Mark Rambacher of the trustees. The original budget had the trustees providing some extra funds to get us within budget. As we're trending in a good direction, we've asked for some pricing for some things to be put back in. For example, the assisted listening system on some of the community rooms. We're also asking for a price for a electric vehicle charger that will be donated by the Littleton Electric that we're going to provide the provisions for.
Great.
So there's, some of the things that we're asking for pricing on, and we'll make a decision. We'll make sure we bring it up to the Pmbc, whether or not we want to go forward with them with the trustees' blessing as we get closer. Some of that is going to be fundraising money.
That's
Definitely
trust-
could use another
trust-
charger. The one that's downtown is, the one that's on the side of the building is busy all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Brian, that's trustee money that they're talking about spending, or is that still coming out of the budget?
Well, I would say both. The original budget did have trustee money contained inside of it in order to get us to budget.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason being, we always said that throughout the project, we would try not to use the additional funds until we needed them. And as we're trending, the lump sum that they had committed to, that they'd be able to contribute towards the end of the project, is getting smaller and smaller. But if we are to add things on for almost like a wish list, we'll discuss where that pot of money is coming from. If it's certainly outside of the original budget, then it would have to go through the trustees. There are two other items that I wanted to bring up that we need to talk about. And I know, Bob, I spoke with Steve regarding the plantings for the neighbor.
Yep.
I think we have a direction forward. I'm going to speak with the project manager about, kind of resetting our budget on what we think for that, and what we could possibly do in that area.
Brian, our original conversation with the homeowner there was that we would try to do something for him, in order, and we had talked maybe 3 or 4 arborvitaes up around on the corner there to shade something, but or clear the view there. But we're not talking about huge trees. It's something that can grow up, and I think that's probably what Steve related to you too.
He did. So I'll go back to the drawing board on that and see what I can do. Like I said, resetting the budget, making sure that we're not overextending ourselves from a.
Cataldo's quote will kind of put a little hurt into the budget on that area there.
Yep. The other item, and we knew that this might come up throughout the project, is going to be the BDA system in the building. When we were doing value engineering, we took out the bidirectional antenna, which is something that the fire department and police department need in order, if they cannot get any service inside the building. As a value engineering exercise, we took it out of the budget. We left the provisions inside the budget, but we took the actual BDA system out. And speaking with Deputy Clancy, he did a walkthrough recently and he wasn't able to get the transmission that he needed. So we're in the process of going through and scoping out how much that is going to cost in order to get that antenna back into the project.
That's for their fire alarm systems, Brian?
It's so that, in the event they need to radio back to dispatch, that they can be heard throughout the entire lower level.
The repeater.
Correct. So
Yeah.
those aren't cheap. I'm finding that out now, and they can come to the tune of $35,000 for the entire system. So
Right.
some of it is already contained in the project by way of provisions. We're working with both the general contractor, the electrical subcontractor, the engineer of record, and the architect to get not only the most aesthetically pleasing location for the antenna, but also the cheapest and shortest route to get the antenna outside so that it satisfies everybody.
Yeah, years ago, that was a big deal because fire services in every town had different equipment.
Yeah.
And so you really couldn't figure out what kind of antenna to put in until you talked to fire services. And generally, the first time around was if fire services wanted an antenna, they were supposed to pay for it. But it's beyond that now. Right now we generally provide them. The buildings are it's too much rebar, too much steel. I can understand it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we rolled the dice at the beginning in order to get kind of a value engineer, but we had an idea, obviously building the library into the side of a hill. Our chances were minimal. So
Fire marshal would have mandated if we didn't have it.
Yep.
Hey, Brian, back to the EV. Is there any chance you can put in maybe 3 to 5 EV stations? Because the legislature passed a roadmap to energy independence, and that's going to mean a lot of cars are going to become electric now.
Yep.
And just
As I,
having one,
yes, I was just being dictated to by the trustees who told me that they were going to have a charging station that was donated to them. So if
Because
we
when you-
were to add more, I did just get a quote on another library project where we're looking, those things can run. I don't remember if it's $10,000 or $20,000 that you can put in, but I can find out what it's going to cost per charging station. And
maybe just getting the conduit in the ground would be the thing to do right now.
Mhm.
Because that's the biggest expense.
Yep,
If you're looking
I
at
can,
something like that,
I'll entertain.
possibly-
I'll float that out there to see what we'd be looking at in order to get extra provisions if we wanted to
yeah, because
line the back of that parking lot with more charging stations.
Brian, did you understand this morning at the meeting that the charging station that's there now is going to be relocated, or is it going to stay? I didn't quite get what the
The
determination
charging
was.
station that's being donated to the library is currently at LELD and is
Oh,
used.
okay.
What they're doing, they're upgrading to like a fast supercharge
Yep.
piece of equipment that's going to be at LELD, and they're giving us their old.
Right.
charger.
Okay.
So it's going to be, from what I've gathered, it's the same exact thing that they have on the side of the town hall right now.
okay,
Thanks.
then maybe the thing to look into is at least getting the conduit in the ground so we don't have to break up the pavement later.
Yeah. Okay.
With a manhole, a pole handhold. Because we're gonna, 10 years down the road, we're gonna be looking for those charging stations everywhere. In fact, we're gonna more than likely be mandating it in the building code very soon too.
Yep.
The other
I'll
thing on that, Brian?
I'll draft that up and see if we can we'll include that into the proposal request to just even have like you said, a handhold with something poked into the side of the foundation so that we at least have a
Exactly.
raceway to it.
Exactly.
Because I believe the charger that we're putting in right now is going to need 2 dedicated 40 amp circuits.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
So the way that these panels are designed, we will have the capacity though for those. So
Great.
anything else?
Thank you.
Any other questions, guys?
Brian, I was curious on the, once they get in, it sounds like permanent power is right around the corner. So have they, has Commodore shared anything about a startup schedule? Are they ready for that equipment startup?
Yep. So we actually have our commissioning agent, Fitzmyer Tachi, on board as well. They're kind of lingering in the background, waiting for that permanent power to be turned on, and they're going to be fully involved with all the startup of the equipment. A couple weeks ago, we had our integration meeting with the commissioning agent that kind of got everybody on notice on once we get permanent power and we start doing startups, that they're going to be real integral, being there on site during the startups with all their checklists.
Okay.
So they've actually started providing some of their O&M material to the commissioning agent, just so that at the end of the project, we're not kind of lagging and waiting around for some of it.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Hi. Brian, the police station?
Hold on, 1 second. First, can I interrupt for
Go
a
ahead,
minute,
Mark.
Rich? So the other thing, Rich, that we're looking is, we're looking for grants for solar panels on the building. So there's 2 or 3 ways we're approaching this right now to get solar panels. Everything is designed for the solar panels. We're applying for a grant Monday from EBSCO, which is a library distributor. And we've been talking to Jamie Eldridge about possibly getting funding from the state budget for solar panels on the building. So we're looking more towards the future for that type of stuff. We're also talking about if we exceed our $1 million goal for fundraising, whether we can earmark some of that towards solar panels, depending on how these other things come out. So it's not likely we have solar panels when we open because of the time it takes for the grant and the earmarks, but there's certainly hope for them by, sometime in 2022.
My goodness, that's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
The building was designed for a 35 kilowatt hour system.
Wow, great. Good to hear.
And actually today they started the infrastructure on just bringing the conduit from the electric room up into the attic, so that it's more or less for lack of a better word, a plug and play system once the panels do arrive.
Well, we'd be right there when 2050 comes around then.
That's right.
Hey, Brian, police station?
Yeah, sure. Police station, unfortunately, I don't have too much to report. We required to have them send their schedule. We've had our mock-up on site that's been reviewed. We're trying to narrow down exactly the color mortar that we need. They've told me that due to some of the delivery delays that they've had, the decorative CMU block won't be on site for the next couple weeks. So I'm hoping to set up a meeting probably in the next week and a half. We'll go over where their laydown area is and where the lull is going to be. They'll probably be on site a day or two prior to that, starting some of their destructive work, breaking down some of the old block and some of the flashing up on the roof. And we can begin. Their preliminary schedule right now has them starting the beginning of May and running to the end of August. And that is to be done in phase 1 and phase 2. So the hope being by the time we hit September, it's more or less a paperwork activity at that time, getting everything closed out. We're waiting on a few more submittals. The submittals that have been submitted, the architect has turned them back around. And we are working with the town right now, making sure that the phase 2 contract for the contractor will be going out in the next couple of days. It's just an amendment to their phase 1 since they're the same company.
Hey, Brian, quick question for you as far as access in around the community room at the police station. Is there anything during the construction, either phase 1 or phase 2, that will impact the use of that room other than COVID requirements?
They will be replacing windows in phase 2.
Okay.
So are you saying,
go ahead.
Are you saying, will there be a point in time during phase 2 where the community room will not be able to be used?
Yeah, because that's one of my video broadcast suites.
Sure. So the preliminary schedule that they gave me does kind of outline, I got it last night, it does kind of outline when they're going to be doing these windows. I don't trust it fully because we don't know exactly when the delivery date of these are going to be.
Okay.
So I can give you probably a 3-week window right now, and then get it as it gets closer, narrow it down in how much time they're going to need to do the replacement.
Yeah, it's a balancing act because, again, the buildings aren't open because of COVID, and also the safety buildings are furtherly not open. Matt doesn't want people into the room.
Yep.
So I've got upgrades I have to do to get these things to be recommissioned, and then also to deal with hybridization. So that kind of a time frame, a month, would be very helpful.
Definitely.
Last quick question for you. Will you be on site at the library tomorrow morning, sir?
Not tomorrow morning. I can probably be there in the afternoon if needed. Are you looking to go down in that room?
Yeah, if there's no problem, I'll stop in at your trailer and ask for forgiveness to go downstairs.
Yeah, you can go and ask. I'll send out
Very good.
I'll send something just letting them know that you're going to take a peek.
Thank you, sir.
You can give me a call too, because I did have a question for you regarding that room.
All right, very good. I will do that. Thank you.
All right.
Brian, do we determine what the leak was at the police station?
The other day?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was up on the roof. That actually didn't have anything to do with the envelope. The leak that was happening was inside the perimeter of the building. The chief had Rockwell Roofing come and take a look at it. They found a puncture penetration. I think it was up near a curb on one of the rooftop units. And it had gotten down on top of the metal decking and had run down and was dripping on one of the structural members right near the motion sensor of the conference room.
yeah.
The slip was sent by the chief. He says that they hadn't had any issues since.
Great.
Brian, I
Which is
found
good. I'm glad that that's taken care of because I'd hate to do all this envelope work and then we get some more drips inside the building. And
that won't happen. I found all the police, all my records from when we built the police station. Did you need any more records, or do you got everything you needed?
do you have old record documents or as-built drawings or?
I got everything.
That's good news. Okay, I'll ask the architect if he needs. One thing that we might need is the product data on the old mortar. Although if you go to a joint on anywhere in the entire building, you'll get a different color. So we're having a tough time making sure that things are an exact match. And I don't think we're going to get that exact match, but we're trying to get something that's as close as possible.
That's because when the mortar failed the first time, Joe made an agreement with the contractor to come back and remortar the building, and he just remortared it. He didn't care about color or anything else, and Joe didn't know.
Yeah, you can see that.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Any other questions? Anything else, Brian?
I'm all set. Thank you.
You all set then?
Yep. Think you.
Okay.
Good
Rich?
work, Brian. Oh,
Rich Kreiler, the Houghton building?
yeah. I think it's May 5th or May 12th. We're gonna take a look at that. Let me see. Yeah. I think it's May 12th. We're going to take a look at that. It's not easy getting everybody together because the Eddie, building commissioner wanted to be there. Chris wanted to be there. There's people on vacation. So right now it looks like May 12th. We're going to take a look at the possibility for putting in a French drain around the building and possibly connecting it to the storm drain in the street.
Mm-hmm.
So more to come.
Member input? Timlin?
All set.
Brian?
I'm all set. Thanks, Bob.
Bartlett? Did we lose him?
No, Bartlett's still there, but his mic is off.
Yeah, he's muted.
Yep.
Rich?
I'm good. Yeah, thanks.
I'm all set then. Motion to adjourn, anybody?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion made to adjourn, seconded?
I'll second that. Brian Pasquale.
All right. Roll call. Bartlett?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think Bartlett's frozen.
I think he's frozen.
Yeah.
Timlin?
Timlin Rassius, yes.
Rich?
Yep. Yes for me.
Brian?
Brian Pasquale. Yeah.
And Bob Romley, yes. Next meeting will be May 12th,
Great.
Sounds good.
probably
Thanks, Bob.
still zooming.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.